I wanted to answer your question.
Okay. One benefit.
Yeah, exclusively to marriage and that union. I was going to say some people don't fully devote themselves in the relationship status as they would once it's finally like a marriage and union.
That benefits the man?
Yeah. If you have a fully devoted wife, like that's what I'm saying. Some people don't give or, kind of show off or do as much as they would until that,
Let me ask you a question. Who's likely to work harder? An employee that has a job that is guaranteed in their tenure, they can't be fired, or someone whose position is unsure?
Who would work harder? Yeah. Probably the person whose position is unsure. So they want to keep their job.
Oh, so wouldn't it be fair to say by that same analogy that a girlfriend is probably going to work harder than a wife would?
Not necessarily.
Why?
Yeah, I could. Because some women may believe, they're not going to cook for a man until they're, that wife status, or they may not do XYZ or help out in XYZ way until they become a wife. They're given that status of a wife. So, I was saying,
if you're trying to get a job, or if you're in a position and you want to get promoted, wouldn't it be fair to say that you need to do what that position requires before you get the job?
If you look at it from a job promotion type standpoint.
Yeah, but isn't that what promoting a girlfriend to a wife is?
I mean, not
realistically speaking. No? Why not?
Because that's what I'm saying. Some guys will make her the wife if they want, based off what she says, I'm not going to do XYZ till you make me a wife. Then they're going to.
But is that a man that a woman actually wants that doesn't have the ability to dictate terms? She's running the relationship if he's on her terms like that.
Not necessarily.
Men get into relationships all the time with women who don't do certain things.
But do those
and
men?
They're made a wife.
So
hold on. But do those women
that
actually respect their husband?
Be honest.
Realistically speaking, if you can bully him around like that and say, I am not going to do X, Y, Z
I won't
unless this happens, who has the power?
I don't think it's about
who has the power?
In that situation, you could say that she holds power.
Okay, now,
but there might be other rules.
Hold on. That's very important. You're saying that she holds the power. What are women attracted to? When they have the power or when the man has the power?
When a man has the power.
There you go.
So wouldn't it be fair to say that if she has the power and she's able to do that?
It might not apply to every single situation where she has the power over the man.
Generally, though.
Or
if she's able
speaking.
to dictate something that important, like marriage, where that guy is going to put himself in a compromising situation and lose half his assets if this doesn't work out, I would argue she has an overwhelming amount of the power. She's able to bully him into marriage.
Bully into marriage?
That's absolutely what it is. She's bullying him into marriage.
Word.
What?
I feel like it's setting a standard. It doesn't have to be bullying.
If he doesn't want to get married.
If you care about somebody, you're not thinking about, well, I need to protect my... And I'm saying this, take my words with a grain of salt, or for lack of better words.
Trust me, we do.
You're not... No tea, no shade.
Funny,
be
right?
quiet.
I'm funny, right?
You are. But in all seriousness, I think that sometimes women have a certain standard, and some men that may not live up to that standard are not prepared to hear things that they're not ready for or haven't experienced. They say, well, listen, I'm okay with X, Y, and Z. Are you okay with that? It's important to meet a partner that's okay with your standards. It has nothing to do with saying, because I'm not, like you just said, I'm not dating a man that I can run over. I don't think that's attractive at all. Okay. I want you to lead with reason and not be led by a blind horse. But at the same time, my standards shouldn't offend you. They should motivate you.
Well, here's the thing. Women are blind horses. And what I mean by this is that, the controversial take, women are blind horses. And what I mean by that is that women are ruled by their emotions, okay? She might feel, I want to get married. With the translation, I want the wedding and I want the ceremony, etc. But do they want to actually be a wife? I would argue most women don't. And if a woman sits there and says, I'm only going to cook and clean for you or have these wife duties, if you elevate me to wife, that's ridiculous. That's ludicrous. Can you go into your job and say, promote me to CEO?
Then I'll become
that person. No, but we live in a crazy clown world where women are able to dictate terms and tell you, this is what I want, right? And then your dumbass is supposed to go ahead and give them what they want without them necessarily meeting their requirements. Could you imagine? Hold on. Like, again, this is why female logic doesn't make sense. Could you imagine if you could walk into your employer's office and say, look, man, I want my salary tripled. I want these XYZ benefits. And then, and only then, I'm going to go ahead and complete my duties. And on top of that, by the way, I reserve the right to stop those duties at any time and still get my salary and pension.
Yep.
Would that employer actually allow you to do that? Yes or no?
No.
The answer is a profound no.
Okay, no, but
Hold on. The answer is a profound no. That is exactly what marriage is. And that's what I mean when I say these women bully the men into the marriage, because marriage, realistically speaking, it was a trick question, ladies, doesn't benefit men at all. You can get everything that a woman provides without the confinements of marriage in today's day and age, especially with the way women are as far as, you know, promiscuity and having sex. So it really doesn't benefit men at all. It actually puts them in a detriment. And that's why I'm arguing, if you're able to tell a man, I'm not going to cook and clean or display these wife duties until you elevate me to wife, and he actually complies with that, you ain't going to respect him in the first place. Because that tells me he doesn't have leverage to tell you what the fuck it really is. If you are working at a Fortune 500 company or a prestigious law firm, you can't tell them, I'm going to be a partner and I'm going to do this after the fact. They're going to tell you, get the fuck out of here. We have other qualified employees that are better than you that we can hire that will gladly take your job. Then, and only then, will you respect that position because you could be replaced.
It wasn't a point to just say, oh, I'm never going to do anything. I'm just going to be a horrible girlfriend until I'm a wife or whatever. But it's like, it's more so you're not going to
Well, if you're not cooking and cleaning, you're a horrible girlfriend by default.
That's facts, yeah.
But that's what
That's
what I'm
basic
saying
duties.
what are the
I
rules
think
and
that's
responsibilities
basic duties
of a
of
girlfriend,
living.
and what are the rules and responsibilities of a wife, and what's the difference? Why would men get married if there's ultimately no difference?
For the
Outside
girl.
of that,
So also, question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yourself, dating. You ever been in love?
Yeah.
Okay, question. When you're dating that guy, did you do wifely duties off rip?
Yes, I did.
So what?
But that's me.
But you didn't need marriage, right?
No.
Why?
Because I did it because I wanted to, not because I felt
Exactly.
obligated.
So marriage is
to.
going to be based off of your preference or in your head what you think it should be, which means as by default, you love somebody regardless of the facts. So if you're telling men you need to get married because if you don't, I won't become that wife, what are you really saying? You're saying that on some level, as a red flag, I'm going to change because it's going to benefit me in the future. Versus you love him generally, you're going to do it regardless.
Yeah, but
And not only that-
I asked, what are the responsibilities and roles of a girlfriend compared to what are the roles and responsibilities of a wife? And why would men get married if there's ultimately no
What if I
difference?
told you, Tricky? They're the same.
They're the same.
They're the
Yeah.
same.
Yep.
so that's
So
why
And
how
I
is
was
that
that's where so
different?
many girls fuck up. Like they think, oh, I'm going to behave like a wife after I become a wife. That's why a lot of chicks don't get married.
That's
because
facts.
guys are
Yeah.
looking at it like, wait, you can't even do the job and you want the promotion? But only in America and in the West do we allow women to have crazy standards where they're able to demand things without providing the value
That's
back.
not even just in the West,
yeah,
though. They
it's
practice
not.
this in lots of other cultures. In African cultures, Nigerian weddings, they have to give money, give gifts, give
Hold on,
promises
but what are they?
to the
What are,
wife.
hold on. Let's put some onus on the females. What are they getting back in exchange from that woman? They're getting a virgin. They're getting a woman that comes from a two-parent household. They're getting a woman that understands basic rudimentary things of cooking and cleaning, not
correct.
talking
Not
back,
necessarily.
not
Always
interrupting.
get a
Stop for 2
virgin.
seconds. Okay, they're getting a woman that has some semblance of traditional values in exchange for them doing that. So my thing is, if y'all want to use marriage as the crutch, is the guy really getting a fair return back? The answer in the West in general is a no.
So is
Yeah,
it only in Western culture where women get or have sex before marriage? Is that the only difference? That's the
Mostly.
only difference that I heard.
It happens a lot in the West because we've decentivized sex. I mean, we asked you guys a bunch of you guys openly speak about sex with your parents.
Yeah.
In other places, that's a big fucking profound. Like that's a
That's
no
an L,
no.
yeah.
So here in the West, we've sexualized women and it's open and that's fine. But what I am saying is that you can't sit here and be progressive in that aspect, but then want to be regressive in other aspects such as marriage.
I think that a huge thing that people are getting caught up on is like in Western society, marriage is such a huge construct because it involves these contracts and it does involve putting your finances together and tying yourself, and then getting unmarried is so complicated. So the preference
And it only
of,
hold on. You're missing one important thing. It only benefits women.
and so the preference of what a marriage is
I love
is
how she didn't
to-
address that.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about it, and what you're saying, it makes sense because what the preference of what people want a marriage for. And I've also heard men say they want a marriage, and then the woman is saying no. So I've heard that before, but I think what people are
That's fair.
tying
They've been brainwashed.
fair.
marriage to is monogamy. And so they're like, okay, if this person marries me, they have to be with me for the rest of their life. And so that's like a preference that they put on it. Or if this person marries me, then our finances are going. And that's another perspective that some girls take. So they're like,
notice,
okay,
hold on. Both those things you just mentioned, monogamy and finances being tied together, who does that inherently benefit?
But I'm saying,
Hold on, that's important.
Yeah, that's
Who
what
does
I'm
it
saying.
benefit?
That's the man's perspective on when a man wants the girl to be married, it's because they want the girl to be locked down.
Yes.
No.
On some level.
No, that is
not
true.
some
That's what I.
level.
That's
The
what
two
I've
things
heard
you
from
just
men.
mentioned.
And then for girls,
hold on, stop. Because we actually, because if we're gonna have this conversation, we need to look at it from a holistic standpoint. What you just mentioned, the monogamy and then combining of the finances. Who does that benefit?
Right. So
the women most of the time.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I totally agree with you, and that's what I'm saying. That's the question was about Western society, and this is
the question is what benefits men
in Western society, right? Marriage.
No. See, you guys don't even remember the question. It started first was basically relationships. What would you bring to a relationship in a marriage or whatever? But it was a little hard for you guys to understand, so I rephrased it so it makes more sense. Name one benefit that a guy would get in a marriage that he wouldn't get in a regular relationship.
Okay.
That's how this started.
So that's what I'm saying. There are men who have the construction that, okay, if I lock this girl down, she's going to be monogamous to me, and then that's the only reason that they're proposing. And that's, men get tricked into that for that reason. Otherwise, a girl is also looking for the same thing. She wants monogamy, or it could be the finances thing. She wants the finances tied together, right? So it could be one or the other thing. But what like overall,
the first thing you mentioned with he wants the monogamy from the girl, he's doing that because she's threatening to leave, like she had mentioned, and then she had mentioned.
Yeah, or societies, or the built-in
because
fear.
women bully men into marriage all the time.
But I also disagree with your statement about
leaving.
them bullying, though.
That's quite literally bullying. You're telling him if you don't, you're giving him an ultimatum. To do something that he doesn't want to do.
So I wouldn't give an ultimatum. I think that it's important to state your desires, what you want in a relationship on the first date or when you communicate with somebody before you move forward and say this is an ultimatum.
That's easy to say in 2020 hindsight, but how many times do girls end up in a relationship with a guy? It goes 1 year, 2 years. Okay, but I'm saying in general because I've talked to a million women about this.
Right.
They've been going for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Oh, he's not marrying me. They threaten the guy. If you don't marry me, I am going to leave.
I think that anybody that puts you in an ultimatum is selfish and they don't want to be with you.
But I've also heard that guys don't need 3, 4, 5 years to determine whether or not they're gonna.
They don't. But you made a good point. If the guy's pushing for marriage, it's because 1, he wants to tie you down and not lose you.
Yes.
But 2, what he's saying is, for example, the girl's saying to him, "Oh, if you don't marry me, I'm gonna leave."
Exactly.
That's a tactic to kind of tie you down as well.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
On both ends.
It's like on both sides. That's what I'm saying. Because there are some weak men who do allow girls to manipulate them, and they're like, this girl is going to leave me. I'm going to be by myself, so I have to lock it down. So it's not just the girl wanting marriage. Sometimes it's guys that aren't thinking clearly, and they're just like,
he wants
okay,
marriage in response to a threat of her leaving. That's way different than
right.
She wants the marriage, he doesn't. She threatens to leave. Now his goal shifts because he understands if I don't commit to her, she's gonna leave me. She has the power.
Or his parents or something put that thought, and the girl didn't even say something.
It's the woman most of the time, man. Let's just keep it a million. It's women that want to walk down the aisle in a white dress and spend a bunch of money on a ceremony, and you know what I mean. It's what women want. And guys are stupid and go ahead and actually marry women. But the reality is, if your girl is able to bully you or tell you this is the ultimatum and you actually comply, she never liked you like that in the first place. You don't have any power. You don't have any leverage. And women don't respect that. That's why most marriages end in divorce anyway.